I'm Roxanne Glauser, Content Director here at Whirly Derb, and I'm excited to start our interview with content provider series that we'll be doing throughout the year. And today we have our very first guest. We have Jerry Csaki, who's with us from the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. And he's going to be telling us a little bit about his programs, things that your students can connect to, and a little bit about the different technologies that they're using at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So now, Jerry, if you would, please tell us just a little bit of your background, a little background of the Hall of Fame to kick it off here.
Well, thank you, Roxanne. We always love connecting with our friends at Whirly Derb. I've known Roxanne and the folks here at Whirly Derb for a number of years now, and just awesome content providers, and we're extremely grateful that you decided to make us the kickoff, I guess, to your content provider interview. So thank you very much, Roxanne. We greatly appreciate that. But one of the things that most people confuse about the Pro Football Hall of Fame is that we're just a sports place. In fact, our museums serve two main missions in most cases. You'll see it in their mission statement: preserve and educate. And we are no different. We preserve and educate the history of what you see behind me, from the old timers like over here to the new timers like Drew Brees' jersey from when he eclipsed 5,000 yards just a couple seasons ago. So it's our job as a museum is to promote that, to promote the game and educate about it and preserve the history. But as an educational department, our job is to take all this and integrate it into curricular areas.
All right. Now, Jerry, I must say, I've known you for several years, and anytime I'm around and you are introduced to somebody, they pretty much always say you have one of the coolest jobs ever. So how long, tell us just a short thing, how long have you been at Pro Football Hall of Fame? How did you end up with, yes, I'm going to agree, one of the coolest jobs in education?
Well, thank you very much. And yes, I always get paid, so a little bit. We're a nonprofit though, but no, I started here in 2000 actually. I've been here 14 years now, coming up in May. So, it's something that I was fortunate to get right out of college, and eventually the position has obviously grown quite a bit. So, and we've been doing video conferencing since about 2007. So. I've been around for a few years, but I'm still a rookie here, believe it or not. And we've got people 30, 40, 50 years. I guess it's a testament to the job, as you said.
All right. Well, thank you so much. So, and I'm always fascinated, and I never thought of it just being more than football. Honestly, that was me. I was one of those, it's only football in my mind, so I'm excited to hear more. So let's talk about the types of programs that you do, because you mentioned, and one of the things that we're always interested in are those video conferencing programs where you can connect into classrooms, throughout the U.S. So tell us a little bit about the types of programs that you do, and as you're thinking of the types of programs, what are the benefits for students? Because, in this day and age, we're very crunched for time and education. So talk about what we could learn from you and how does that benefit our students. So we'd like to hear that.
Yeah, definitely. And we can dive to our website here in just a moment. But the real benefit of connecting with, with any content provider for that matter, but especially I think the Pro Football Hall of Fame is you have a unique way of teaching science, a unique way of teaching math, a unique way of studying history, through the lens of professional football. So, and I always use the very basic example is, would a student rather learn 2 + 2, or would they rather learn that Peyton Manning threw for 2 yards and then threw for another 2 yards? When you put it in that aspect, that student doesn't even realize that they are doing math. And all of a sudden at the end, you're like, do you realize you just did, single digit, addition, wow, I didn't even think of it that way. And that can be a case all across the board, whether it's in history, language arts, for example, African American pioneers, looking at the integration of professional football and paralleling that with what was going on in our country, because pro sports, especially pro football, went through the same transitions that our country did. So that's the real benefit is learning history, learning math, learning science, learning social studies, learning character ed, learning technology, learning all these different curricular areas without really knowing that you're learning to an extent, because it's through football, and it's a demographic that or it's a sport that reaches all kinds of demographics, especially on the youth side. There's a whole host of kids just go to your schools and ask them how many of their fans are of their local team. Ask in Texas, how many are fans of the Texans or the Cowboys. I mean, every kid's hand. Sports is a powerful way to connect to what we feel. The learning bridge, it can be that student interest sometimes over here in education, sometimes on this side. We really think pro football can be that learning bridge to connect the two. And we do that through a wide variety of ways. And I'm going to flip over to my laptop here, and your content will be popping up here just in a moment. This is our educational landing page, profootballhof.com. If you were to click on education at the top here, this would take you to our landing page, which gives you all of our different initiatives, our 5 most often used in the center, then all of them on the side here. But video conferencing, what's neat about, number one, about this technology for anybody that's watching this that is not familiar with video conferencing technology, is that you can connect your students to expertise anywhere, not only in the state of Texas, but as you can see here now in Ohio, you're connected to Ohio, and there's content all over the world, like the World Thoreau Museum of Paleontology in Canada, or the Great Barrier Reef you want to bring in from Australia in your classroom. You can do that through this, and it's not to replace what you're doing in there, it's to enhance what you're doing in the classroom, to give real-life experience. And in this case, these are the different programs that we offer, and I'll bump this up so it's a little bit easier to see on screen. But what you'll see is a description of our programs, and I won't go through all these, but one of the most popular we do through video conferencing is careers in the NFL, where we look at jobs in the NFL beyond just being a professional athlete. So, and it's not just about the connection with us here in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. There are pre-materials that we have in place for teachers to do in the days or weeks leading up, and there's post-materials that allow teachers to assess what they gain. And these materials are all aligned with national standards and Common Core standards as well.
Right, Jerry. Okay, I thought I knew, I knew the programs that y'all did, but the careers in the NFL, that one does pique my interest, because I know we've had not a Hall of Famer, but we've had Walter Abercrombie speak to our students a couple times, and we were surprised to know actually how short a career the average NFL player has. The big names, like the Peyton Mannings, Roger Staubach, Terry Brett, the greats, you think of these long careers. It's not really that long a career for a player, is it?
Yeah, that is correct. It's only about 3.5 years is the average NFL career, and it's only 0.2% of high school seniors that play football will ever make an NFL roster. So it's better to start focusing on some of the other jobs that they might be able to pursue in the NFL rather than being a pro athlete.
That fascinates me. The other one that's been fascinating us lately at our house are all the graphics and the technology that supports the games these days, those new cameras that are going on. Do y'all have any programs about any of that? I know I have no idea when I ask this.
That's okay. And actually, the careers program kind of focuses on that. The great thing about the careers program is that I could work with a school district, and I've done this before, where we've done 5 classrooms in a row, and every class has had a different program to an extent, because we focused in on different jobs. Some of them are more career tech savvy, so we focused in on some of the technical jobs that are behind how does the broadcast come about. There's 70 people that come in from ABC and NBC and ESPN and NFL Network to cover these games. So there's a whole team of people that are in charge of making sure that game goes without a hitch. The digital media, those sorts of things, how we use Facebook and Twitter and those sorts of things to promote the Hall of Fame, and how the teams utilize them. So one case it might be that, another group might be a sport marketing group, so we might focus on ticket sales and corporate sales or something like that. Another group, we might just be a random conversation. We do this program from 4th graders all the way up to high school students, so it can really run across the board as to what we get into.
Okay, that really just dovetailed back into my question about the benefit for students. I loved how you talked about being a learning bridge from the interest and the curriculum. That really connects it. And I wasn't even thinking about this as much, but when you mentioned science, we see all of the headlines about how they're studying concussions and how they're improving the technology in the helmets and things. Do y'all have any programs or anything you do to educate maybe our high school students about the dangers of concussions?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's we're not experts in the design of helmets. We leave that for the National Football League, but nonetheless, when it comes to just the science of football, yes, and we're actually going to be launching here coming up. I guess I'm giving a little insight into this. We're going to be launching an online learning center that will focus in on the first couple modules. We'll be focusing in on science of football. And I think in this case, momentum and force. We're going to be utilizing NBC. Partnered with the National Science Foundation, the National Football League, to produce these great videos using NFL players and footage and just promoting science through football. And that's going to be a piece that's going to be a part of this online learning center. So yeah, we are tackling science, if you will.
That is, I told you, the other thing I always remember that Walter Abercrombie would mention would be when it's really, really cold. He played, for the Steelers, and he said he'd look over and see Ronnie Lott headed his way. He knew it was going to hurt. So, that, yes, that is a great hook for science there. All right, now you have alluded to the last topic I'd like for you to talk about is the technology. I heard you mention social media. Excited to learn more of that online learning center, but I connected with you to hear about your programs through video conferencing, and we know that the traditional, we call it the 323 video conferencing, some schools don't have that specific equipment, and that can limit who can connect with you guys. So talk to us. What's coming up? How can we connect in with you this school year?
Yep.
Tell us what you have there.
Yep, there's a lot of resources. I mean, a lot of options out there, if you will. I mean, whether it's a 323 system, if you have in your school district, it's estimated, I think, about 60% of school districts across the country have the technology, but a lot of school districts aren't able to utilize them anymore because whether it's been staff cuts or position being absorbed somewhere else, or they just don't have the skills or expertise on that equipment. That particular piece of equipment is sitting in the closet in some school districts, which isn't a problem, because what we can do is there's other platforms we can connect. There are what we call 323 softwares that can be quickly and easily downloaded to your laptop, to your computer, using a webcam and internet connection. We can connect your students through that way. But then a lot of content providers now, ourselves included, we're if teachers don't have that necessarily that skill or expertise and they want to connect with us, we'll find a way. And in this case, in the near future here, we're going to be launching a new program initiative called Hangout with the HOF. So Hangout with the Hall of Fame. So utilizing Google Hangouts because there's a lot of great things, a lot of school districts, that's something that teachers are familiar with. If the teacher can do it in the classroom with their students, be the experts, the tech person, the curriculum person, all the positions that we use, with 323, you have 4 different contacts typically when you're doing a program with 323, because you have the technical expert, you have the teacher, you have the video conferencing coordinator. If we can combine that, make that teacher that expert, that tech coordinator, and utilize technologies that they're used to in the classroom, whether it's Skype, whether it's Google Hangouts, whether it's whatever it might be, whatever platform, Microsoft Link, we're going to utilize those. And I think the first logical one for us to start with, a lot of school districts utilize it, is Google Plus and Google Hangouts.
Yes, that is so true, because it's like in the beginning when it was just video conferencing, it was only 323, but as technology advances, it's so exciting. There are so many different ways to connect. And the part that excites me so much, I got my master's online before we had video conferencing, yes, it was in 2000. And now we have that face-to-face connection, and I am so excited. So 323 systems, 323 desktop, Skype, the Hangout with the Hall of Fame sounds fantastic. Now, this is my last question to wrap us up today, because you mentioned, there's the online learning environment, and so many times if I want to learn something, I'll just go to YouTube, honestly, and I'll just watch a video, and, I learn what I'm looking for, and I move on. What do you see, and this is the thing, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, what do you see as the power, or, what is it that happens in that face-to-face, that real-time video conference connection over Google Hangouts, Skype, 323, that real-time, and I know you've got a Heart of a Hall of Famer series, what is it that happens in that video conference that makes it so powerful?
Yeah, I mean, and one of the things, we love for anyone to be able to come here to the Hall of Fame and actually see our building and actually talk to us in person and those sorts of things. But obviously that can't happen everywhere. But it's great the Heart of the Hall of Fame is a great example of that. It's great to you can watch a video on Emmitt Smith. You can watch his highlights. You can see his induction speech. You can see him respond to media. But when Emmitt Smith talks to you, when you, Susie, Susie, 7th grader, says, Emmitt, what was it like to, what skills did you learn in football that helped you later on in life? And he responds, hey, Susie in Texas. You just can't replace that, because all of a sudden that student's like, wow, it's real. I mean, it's not just something I can go search on. This person's speaking directly to me. This question was directly for me, or this answer was directly for me. So just that face-to-face interaction, just giving it that personal touch, because in so many cases nowadays we're so used to I don't know, things have become more and more impersonal nowadays. Through social media, through other things. To have that, with this interactive video conferencing, to have someone that actually can respond to what you're saying, it's powerful. I don't know a better word to say.
One of the things that you just said there, and then the last thing I'm gonna ask you is to point us to all your social media stuff. So get ready. I love how you said it's real, because even our youngest students, I have a 9-year-old little granddaughter, and she's so media. She was like, well, is it real? That's one of the things, because you'll see a video and she's like, is that real? So it's kind of this skepticism of, I know anybody can make a video. So I love how you said that real personal connection. All right, well, Jerry, I want to thank you for being our first interviewee on our content provider series here. So as we leave, this is your time for your shameless self-promotion. So talk to us. How can we follow and find the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Well, just as a museum, you go to Twitter, go to Facebook, search Pro Football HOF. Again, Pro Football HOF, and you'll find us through those elements. We have a YouTube channel. We utilize all the social media platforms, Instagram, Pinterest, whatever it might be. But also as our educational programs, I encourage you to go to profootballhof.com. Click on education, as I showed earlier in this program. Go to our educational newsletter and sign up for that. I encourage you to do that, because that's going to give you updates. It's free. I don't bombard you. Maybe just a couple times a week. That's going to give you updates, new resources, new materials, new programs, anything that we have going on that we feel that can be an asset to educators. We're going to send that out to you. So just recently, we just sent out literally 1,000-page of lesson plans out for teachers to utilize that we just updated on our website. So they take the history of football and integrate it into science, math, all the things that we've already talked about. So there's a lot of resources we have. So I encourage you to stop on in profootballhof.com/education. Go to our educational newsletter, sign up, and get signed up there. We'll keep you up to date.
All right, thank you so much. I'm Roxanne Glauser here at Whirly Derb, and our first guest was Jerry Csaki with the Pro Football Hall of Fame, live from Canton, Ohio. Thank you so much, Jerry. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Roxanne. Always a pleasure.